Hey guys, it's Joe Meulemans, Senior Landscape Designer and Horticulturist with Zeeland Nursery. Today I've been working on my shrub roses, and this is a variety called Honeysweet. Honeysweet is semi-hardy, and typically I cover them during the winter time, but this past year I ran out of time in the fall. And so they've froze back down low, down in the low part of the plant and below ground level. And so what I'm doing today is I'm cutting them back, I'm cleaning them up, and getting them prepared now for springtime. So I'm going to start with this one right here and get this cut back. And so you can see that it's got low growth starting in down here, and so I'm just going to gradually prune away until I got all of my old growth taken off of here. I do have a good pair of gloves on, very sturdy gloves and long sleeves, because these are some wicked thorns on here. So I'm just gradually getting rid of all this old growth and taking it out of here. These roses I've had in for about a dozen years, and I've covered them most winters. But as I say, this past winter I just ran out of time, and this is the result of it. And we'll see what this fall brings as to whether I get them covered or not. And you can see them at maybe about half the plant trimmed away right now. Just continuing. I'm going to save the tag and put it back on as a new rose, as the new cans come on, so I remember what they are. And actually I have about a dozen of these here in the front yard, and it's a beautiful rose. It's more of an orange color. It's got an outstanding fragrance. It's an ever-blooming rose. And so it's a great cut rose all throughout the summertime. And so I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I'm making my cuts as low as I can to the new growth that I have. And some of the branches are dried up all the way down low, and so I'm getting rid of those. Others are still green into the stem, so it's just a matter of working with it and picking and choosing what needs to go and what needs to stay. So I'm just about done here. I'm going to finish up these couple branches yet, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do as far as getting them cleaned up and fertilized, and also protecting them from rabbits. So this is done now. It's been pruned away. I've got a little bit of work to do yet, just clean up some of these stubs, but for the most part it's done. The tools that I use, this is a Felco's pruner. It is a great pruner. I've had this pruners for at least 20 years and it's been excellent. I always worry about if I lose it somewhere in the yard and I can't find it. I also have a Felco's loppers, short handle loppers. This is a great one when I've got larger branches that the pruners won't go through. Then I've got a Felco's cultivator, hand cultivator. So I'm just going to pull away the mulch and compost that's around here right now. As I say, this bed is about a dozen years old, and so it is a very rich soil now as the mulch has broken down and it's been cultivated in. It has really turned out to be some beautiful soil. You can see I'm having no problems at all. I don't have any clay in here, which I'm very happy about, which the rose is happy about too. I don't know if you can see it on there, but I am into the roots of the roses right now. There's some fine white roots. I broke off a little stem. It'll come back, but that's about as far as I'm going to bring the mulch and the compost and soil away from it. I'm using a product that is a rose food along with an insecticide and a fungicide, and that way it gives the rose a boost, especially now that I've had to cut out all of its old wood, and it protects it from insect infestations and also from funguses that come on. And the worst fungus that this variety gets is actually leaf spot, and it gets a little bit during the hot humid periods of the summer, but other than that it's actually a pretty resistant rose as far as insect and disease. So I've given it roughly about a cup and a quarter, cup and a half of the fertilizer with the insecticide and fungicide. And actually in a couple days we're going to get a lot of heavy rain. We're predicted to get about 1.5 inches of rain coming up in 2 days. So I'm not going to water this in at this point The ground's very moist right now. So I've worked it in lightly with my cultivator, and I'll bring some of this compost and mulch back around again. And just kind of clean up my space a little bit. I don't want to bury it in quite as deep as I had it there. I think over time that kind of will come down somewhat. So the last step I'm going to take, because I've got a high population of rabbits, is I've got some rabbit repellent mixed up. Actually, it's a deer and rabbit repellent. It's deer off. And so I'm just going to give it a squirt of that, because right now the rabbits are going to love to be able to get to this tender new growth. So that's it. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you again.